Today we're going to be creating 3D Christmas light bulb boxes. I've already made 2 of them using Encore paper. And we'll be using our purple glitter today for the 3rd box. It's optional to have some foam rolls. This is if you want to give dimension to your light bulb. You'll need glue. And again, this is optional, but this just helps me if I have a pen or some round tool handy, just so that I can give some curvature to the strips for the side of our light bulb. In your file, you'll notice that you have 2 light bulbs. One is for the top and one is for the bottom of the box. If you line them up, you'll see that you have one that's just a bit smaller than the other. That smaller one is for the bottom of the box. The bigger one goes over the box, and so it's slightly larger. All of your bottom pieces have a small square cut out, so you can go ahead and put those with the bottom of the box. Here you can decide to start with the bottom or the top. I personally want to start with the top. You'll notice these 2 pieces right here, these are identical. I'm using textured paper, so I'm going to flip it upside down. And these parts right here, you're going to fold along those dashed lines. And they would just get glued onto the side. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and score the rest of them. This is a piece that has an opening for you for the back of the box. So this will go right over here. I'm just gonna put these on top of each other for now. You'll also notice these 2 strips. These are not identical. One is a little bit thinner than the other one and it has 2 dashed lines. The other one is a little bit wider and it has 3 dashed lines. The one that has the 3 dashed lines, you'll just want to line it up with this small little entry right before the curve comes in. And same thing with the smaller one. And what you want to do is you'll want to fold the left side like that, and the inside piece for when the other section lines up, it'll go just like that. Same thing here, so one goes out, one goes in, and then we have our side panel pieces. So again, I'm just going to use this marker to kind of give it a little curve. You'll notice there's no dashed lines here. That's because we're not going to be folding it. We're just going to let it sit in place. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put that on our left side. Now I'd like to keep this part for the end, and then this will be on the right side. I'm going to go ahead and start by assembling these 2 smaller pieces first. And I'm using Barely Arts glue. You can use hot glue if you'd like, but I do think that Barely Arts glue would give you a little bit better alignment, just because this has so many little pieces that need to be glued. It's gonna fall, you can just let it fall in place. Next, I'm gonna grab one of my side pieces. And while that's drying, I'm just gonna go ahead and get this side done. Okay, and I'm just going to revisit this side now, and this portion of the tab is going to go on the inside so that it's hidden. Now with wet glue, you will have to give it a little bit more drying time than if you were using hot glue. You'll notice that more when we start assembling the light bulb piece. So again, this piece would go right behind so that it's hidden by the top of the light bulb. And we're going to assemble the back. And once I have that down in place, I'm going to go ahead and continue with the sides. Okay. Now when we get to this part, what we'll want to do is go ahead and fold these tabs down. Again, if you're working with textured paper, then your texture should remain on the outside. You'll notice it's missing a little triangle here. That's because it would make this part easier to go over the opposite side. So I'm going to start just by adding glue on the first 2 or 3 triangles. And once I line it up right at the corner, I'm just going to go ahead and add that little curve with my finger. This part does take a little bit longer just so that you have your bulb nice and neat. Once I have those 3 in place, I'm just going to fold inward this little flap. And again, glue it onto the inside portion so that it's hidden. So it would look just like this from the outside. I'm just going to give it a couple seconds to dry. And what I want to do here is I will be flipping this up and down just a bit because I don't want to put glue all on the inside because that'll get really messy. So I want to just add a dot of glue on the tabs, but I'm going to continue to do them a couple tabs at a time. And then I'll flip it back over. And with this lifted, I'll just kind of guide it in place. And then I'm just going to put some pressure on the tabs for a couple seconds. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. So I'm going to flip it back over and you'll see that it's nice and lined up. And if you miss a tab, it's okay. You can get it from the inside later. I try to get all of them now, but it does happen sometimes. Now this one I'm just going to leave for a couple seconds because again it doesn't have a triangle piece to keep this flap inward. but that's okay because this will be on the outside once we add our other side. So this is what you should have so far. If there's any glue, you can just clean it right up. Now we're going to work on our next side. So again, we're going to start just by folding all of the flaps inward. Texture should be on the outside. And we'll go ahead and we'll line it up again. Just gonna give it a couple seconds so it dries in place. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add glue on the inside. And hold that down as well. And again, I'm going to flip it over and I'm just going to start adding glue on the inside of the tabs. And at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and put this flap on the inside and it'll help guide the rest of the assembly because that part will remain on the inside. And now we have the last couple flaps. So this one might be hard to see, but I'm just gonna go from the inside and with my finger push them downward so that I can add glue to them. And I'm just going to leave some pressure for now. I'm going to make sure I've got all the flaps. If there were any that were missed, you would see them lifted. So I've got them all. And once we have those in place, on the inside of the outside panel, I'm just going to add glue. Not too much, but enough that it would keep it secure. And now I'm going to just make sure that it lines up nice and straight. And I'm going to keep some pressure there. To give it a little bit more pressure and keep that flap down, I'm just going to stand it up and rotate this. And that's it. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to set this aside for a second and I'm going to assemble the rest of our top. This sequin paper is super beautiful. I'm using these 3D foamies and this is just going to give it some elevation. It's going to make it pop really nicely. And I'm going to link the foamies in the description. These are from Fanciful Chaos. I'm also going to link the paper line that I'm using today. I got a lot of papers from Encore. These glitters, these sequins, this holographic paper. It's super beautiful. And I'm gonna take my purple glitter, I'm gonna flip it over. So I used gray for this one since my background layer was gray. On the light bulb, my background layer will be black, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use black foamies. And I'm gonna use quite a bit just so that it's nice and sturdy. When you have it where you want it, just go ahead and apply light pressure. You can flip it upside down and apply pressure from the inside as well. Just be very gentle. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna glue this so then that way this piece is not more elevated than the light. All right, so our top is done. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna set it aside and work with our bottom. And for our bottom, we're gonna repeat the exact same steps. We're gonna go ahead and fold along all of the dashed cut lines. And I'm just gonna save these two pieces for the end again. I'm gonna flip my light bulb over. And the reason I'm doing this now is so I know which one goes on which side. So again, you'll notice there's one that has 4 dashed lines. That is for the wider turn right here. And then you'll notice one that has 3. So that way you know this piece is folding outward and this piece is going inward. And there you have it. This is your bottom. It fits nice size snacks in there. Maybe a little shirt rolled up. These would be perfect underneath the Christmas tree. We have our top. And you can even take it one step further and layer up the person's name right across the light bulb. And there you have it. So we have our purple, our blue, and this nice pink sequin glitter.